Orange joining us on a Tuesday. We're moving Alyssa to 11:30 in the morning, and she has agreed to this change, which we very well appreciate that, Alyssa. How was your long weekend?
It was great. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And had a good time in Conway calling the high school state softball games, even though it rained a little bit, obviously, over the weekend. Still kind of overcast here, but cannot complain overall about a 3-day weekend.
So you got through the whole softball finals, but I know baseball's kind of had to. They didn't have to postpone it till midweek. So, but softball got in, right? Okay.
We did, and so the big thing there was I think Rogers Fayetteville played Sunday, and then they've got one more game that they'll play tomorrow to finish that out. The thing with softball there at UCA, their entire field, infield, outfield is turf, so it drains really, really well. The baseball field, the infield is turf, the outfield is actual grass, and so they had some standing puddles that just so much rain came on Saturday morning and afternoon. They couldn't do much about that, so that's why they kind of had to shift things around.
Softball obviously has just become something bigger in the state of Arkansas over the last, I guess I'd say 10 years, maybe a little more than that. What was the, obviously you're doing these state title games. In the foreground is the Super Regional occurring in Fayetteville, and right. I know that everybody that's playing in these state championship games is going to be a fan of the Razorbacks, or at least very, very interested in that. What was the feeling in Conway after the Hogs got eliminated, unfortunately, by the Rebels?
Yeah, I mean, I think, obviously softball, the growth in the state just in general, and the talent in the state that continues to rise was really fun to see. And a lot of those girls on those rosters are committed to D1, D2, D3 programs to play at the next level, and including Arkansas. So a lot of people paying attention. I think the first game kind of threw people off in that first loss to Ole Miss, kind of not understanding, and then the news coming out about food poisoning with Robin and Peyton, and you just kind of your heart breaks because of all the times to have food poisoning for something like that to happen. You just hate that it happened during a super regional. A lot of excitement after what happened in game 2, and then I was back home for game 3. Thought about going, ended up Bella and I watched it at home. I'm still trying to get Bella to appreciate sport. We're working on it in general. She's so funny, but just a heartbreaking way for things to unfold, and it just feels. I think I said cursed. I don't necessarily know. Maybe it's a curse, maybe it's not, but man, it feels that way for sure. That they just can't get the one win they've needed to get to a Women's College World Series for the first time, and it's just heartbreaking for the program, for Courtney Dipel, for this team. To still just feel like it just is so out of reach.
Well, I guess you also feel sometimes, and maybe it's more like what fans feel like they're battling, because the coaches and players end up answering questions about this, but I just don't know if it's a matter of the conversation that they're having. Every team is different every year. In the age of the transfer portal, last year's teams, and the reason that they lost is never the same reason why something happened this year. I mean, it's just that's the truth of college sports now. But the narrative of, is it a matter of something missing? It's like, because it felt like you had kind of everything you needed to make it to Oklahoma City this year, which also included the kind of matchup. Remember, they've gone on the road for Super Regionals to Oklahoma before, which, I mean, nobody's going to win that. But coming home against a team that you already played, it's a tough narrative to overcome, and then it just becomes.
It is.
You feel like you're Sisyphus rolling the ball up the hill, and you just get crushed by it every time you take it near the top.
Exactly. And I think, too, I mean, to your point, to add to that, Phil, not only are you hosting at home against a team you've played already, but it's also a team in the same position as you are, in which that program had also never been to the Women's College World Series. They had not even won a super regional game, Ole Miss had. They had never even won a game until that Friday game against Arkansas. And it just felt like if this was it for Arkansas. This was the year they were going to do it. They had all the pieces in place. There was no, things have to fall this way. Hopefully you get a little luck over here. No, they top to bottom, the lineup, the pitching rotation, the defense, it was all there. I am not going to sit here and say that that season ended because of food poisoning, but it is almost like, what happened? Why did this have to happen? And it's unfortunate, and it's heartbreaking. And that's why I think it's just so hard to process, because that can't be this team's story. Like, how can that be what happened with this team? And that was it. And then I think in Game 3, with Ole Miss starting off, putting up 4 runs in the first, Arkansas answering to tie it back, like it felt like they were going to get that momentum again, and then letting up those 2 home runs for Ole Miss. I went into Sunday not feeling great. And I don't know why. I mean, sometimes, Phil, I don't know if you have those feelings too, where it's just like you walk into before the game even starts and you just don't have a great feeling in your gut about it. That's how I felt going into Game 3.
Yeah, and it's like, for me, you can start to, and look, I didn't watch enough softball this year to have any opinion about the team, truthfully, but I do feel like it's, you're looking for the pitcher that's going to be kryptonite to bats. And I don't remember the name of the young lady that came in and basically was the reason Ole Miss won. She just turned into kryptonite for that team's bats. And I remember seeing the same thing happen with NC State in the Fayetteville Super in 2021, thinking Kevin Abel of Oregon State in the last game in 2018. There's just there just tend to sometimes be a pitcher that just finds a zone. And when a pitcher finds a zone, and even the most talented team offensively, that's what I felt what happened with Ole Miss and Riley Maddox on Friday last week. Well, his numbers weren't great, but the guy threw really well. And all you got to do is watch how much movement was on his two-seam fastball. Sometimes pitchers just get hot. And I thought the Ole Miss pitcher, and I should remember her name, but I don't have my box score in front of me. She just got hot, Alyssa.
She did, and that's the thing, is there's just nothing you can do about that. And all you can do is tip your cap, give an applause, because she pitched an incredible game for her team to set them up to now be able to go to Oklahoma City this week. And that's what it was. She was able to find exactly what she needed and shut down one of the best offenses in the country and execute the game plan. And there's sometimes nothing you can do about it, right? And sometimes, as much as we want to point things and fingers at certain situations and certain things that just weren't I think it just was a case where Ole Miss was executing and their game plan worked, and that's really all you can say about it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
I do, yeah. No, sometimes we're looking for deeper meaning
sometimes
in these
things. Sometimes in this game, it's like, that's it. That's it.
Well, Alyssa, does it become indicative that the program can't ever make the promised land? Well, I ask this question respectfully, too, because we all cover a baseball program where folks might feel like it's cursed and they won't ever win a national title, but they're still at a place where annually they're competing to get to Omaha, and I think this year's team's going to get there too. You're a graduate of Florida State. That was also a program where, well, there was the feeling that baseball-wise, there's a curse because we can't win the national title. All you did was make it to, I don't remember, was it 19 College World Series under Mike Martin?
Yeah,
and
that's exactly
I just have trouble.
I
just have trouble using the word curse with programs that are so successful, but it's just really difficult to be that last team standing. I think softball's in a different place, though, because you're trying to crack that ceiling of Oklahoma City. Yeah. And that's the thing that's so tough here.
It is. And that's, it always just takes that first one, right? Like, you just want to knock down the door and just get to the Women's College World Series. And then you could think about winning a title. Like, I think for baseball, you're absolutely right. You can get there. This team knows how to get there. Now they just have to find a way to win the whole thing. Florida State's still figuring it out. You mentioned Mike Martin. Florida State is the program that's been to the College World Series the most and has never won. It's just hard. It's hard. And, that's why sometimes, not to take away from Tennessee and how many times LSU has won, is truly remarkable because of how hard it is to do it. So when it comes to softball and this Women's College World Series, like, for what Patty Gasso and Oklahoma have done just makes it so much more impressive. For what UCLA has done historically makes it so much more impressive. But you got to get there first. And it's hard. But they always say the first one's the hardest. And then it's almost like, okay, that pressure of never being there is gone. And now the second time, the third time, the fourth time seems a little bit more easy.
Hey, in about 60 or 120 seconds, what do you have thoughts on the Fayetteville Regional Field starting this weekend?
I think it's tough, but it's winnable. I think you've got a really good team in Kansas who played really well in the Big 12 coming in. And then, Creighton and North Dakota State. I like it. I don't think it's the easiest regional out there for Arkansas, but we know that this team can play really good baseball, and as much as the field matters, how this team performs matters. And I think we've seen that over the last two regionals, that, Kansas State came in and played well, and TCU came in and played well, but Arkansas didn't play well. And as long as Arkansas can come in and play the way we've seen this baseball play and team play and know how they play, then I think they'll find themselves in a super next week.
Have faith. Bella will be a sports fan. It just takes a little bit more time, and I know you've got time. Yeah, but you'll put the effort in, Alyssa. I know that.
Well, she said to me, "Daddy and Finn are going to the game, and me and Mommy are staying home, and we are not watching it." And I was like, "Okay, this is the battle."
I guess she doesn't know her mom really well, huh? Oh boy,
she does.
Alyssa, appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. We'll do it again 11:30 next week. Okay.
I'll see you next week. Yeah.
You got it.
BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. Baseball season is in full swing and we're into the NBA and NHL playoffs, and BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, and scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With the largest selection of odds on everything from the MLB, NBA, NHL, and UFC, BetOnline remains the best online source for all your sports wagering information. In between games, head over to the BetOnline Casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. Bet online, the game starts here.